There's a strange expectation we place on men that doesn't always announce itself out loud. It's not written into law. It's rarely spoken directly, but it's taught early, reinforced often, and carried quietly for a lifetime. If you're strong, you stay silent. If you're hurting, you keep moving. If you're afraid, you swallow it and call it discipline. And over time, that silence starts to feel like character, even when it's slowly costing you your peace. If we're honest with ourselves, most men don't wake up one day and decide to lock their pain away. They learn it in locker rooms, at dinner tables, in the way praise is given for endurance, but not for honesty, in the way boys are told to be tough long before they're taught how to be whole, and so pain becomes something private, something to manage alone, something you're supposed to outgrow instead of understand. Most people overlook this. Silence doesn't make pain smaller. It makes it heavier. It settles in the chest. It tightens the jaw. It shows up later as anger, as distance, as a short fuse with the people you love most. It shows up in the long drive home when the radio stays off, in the way conversations stay surface level because going deeper feels dangerous. And eventually, it shows up in the body, in the heart, in the spirit. In the years after the great economic shakeups of the early 21st century, a lot of men felt that weight intensify. Jobs became less stable. Expectations didn't loosen. Families still needed providing. Pride still demanded composure. And at the same time, the world began talking finally about mental health, about trauma, about vulnerability. But many men were standing there thinking, that may be true, but does it apply to me? Because the old rules were still echoing. I've met men who could carry entire organizations on their backs but didn't know how to say, I'm not okay. Men who could solve complex problems but froze when asked how they felt. Men who loved deeply but were taught that love meant protection, not expression, and so they protected everyone except themselves. There's a cost to that, not just individually, but collectively. When men are taught to stay silent, marriages suffer, friendships thin out, sons inherit armor instead of language, and communities lose out on the full humanity of half their people. A democracy depends on citizens who can tell the truth about injustice, about fear, about hope. And when pain goes unspoken, truth does too. What's striking is that when men finally do speak, when the words come out awkward, unfinished, imperfect, something shifts. I've seen rooms change when one man admits he's struggling. I've seen shoulders drop, eyes soften. Other men realize they're not defective, they're human. Silence isolates, voice connects. Still, the risk is real. Speaking up can feel like stepping out of formation. It can invite judgment. It can bruise pride. And yet, every meaningful step forward in our shared story has required someone to say what was previously unsayable. Progress has always begun with a voice that refused to stay quiet any longer. So I wonder how many men are carrying pain they were never meant to carry alone. How many are confusing endurance with strength, silence with maturity? And what kind of families, friendships, and futures might be possible if we finally gave men permission not to collapse but to speak? If this reflection resonates with you, let me know in the comments. Share your thoughts, your experiences, or even just a single word that captures how this landed for you. And if these conversations matter to you, if you believe honest reflection still has a place in our noisy world, stay with this space, subscribe, so we can keep asking the questions that don't get asked often enough.